Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to That Infernal Noise, now part of the Mental Health News Radio Network.
Devil, not no more for these, you call me Ichigo. Now I let my aura grow as I pull my Zanpakuto. Let me introduce you, his name is Sangetsu. Well, he will only live if and when we let you. Been through a lot of things, killed oh so many hollows, didn't know at first which path was the right to follow. I don't fight, cause I want to win a fight, cause I have to. I will take my spirit energy and aim it right back at you. Frightening nigga be Yakuya, taught me a lot of things, like how to channel and harness all my hate and rage in the form of a bankai. I don't understand why I'm the only one fighting, all the others stand by. I'm not such a saint to promise that I'll risk my life for strangers. Neither am I scum enough to sit back while they're in danger. Everyone looking at me like I'm a superhero, like this is the Matrix and I'm playing Neo. But I'll see my duty through. What the fuck else would I do? Just let it all rot or leave it up to Udi. You a fuck all that now, cause I'm the one in full control. That is until the hollow takes control over my soul. I'm a fucking anime kid. Make a point. 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 And if you don't like it, shut the motherfucker.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to That Infernal Noise. I am the tie-dye Jedi, the hardcore hippie, the malleable metalhead. I am Robert. If this is your first time here, thank you for coming. If it's not your first time here, I appreciate you coming back. Today, wanted to talk about knowing who needs to sit at your table. I've had a big problem with that in the course of my life. I have allowed a lot of people to feed off of me, sometimes quite literally. Most of the time, it's metaphorically, and they have taken from me, and not in a bad way. You know, I'm the type of person that I'll give to anybody. I'll let anybody sit at my table and eat if they're hungry, literally and metaphorically. And it doesn't bother me necessarily. But I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm realizing that if people are not going to give the same in kind to me that I'm willing to give to them, I will make sure to keep them at arm's length. And what I mean by that is I've recently been going through some heavy shit. You know, very serious things that I may or may not talk about at some point. As of right now, I really don't want to talk about it because I've been talking about it ad nauseum for a week now. And I realized, well, I didn't realize, I knew already, but it really put into perspective as I was going through what I was going through. The first people that come to mind in those dark times and those bad times and those stressful times, like, I want to hang out with this person. I want to have a meal with this person. Not even to necessarily vent. I mean, yes, there was some of that, but it was more of the aspect of, okay, I just dealt with a lot of heavy shit. Who do I want to be around? Who do I want to be around that is my peace, that is my comfort, that is the person or people that I enjoy surrounding myself with all the time, at my highest, at my lowest, everything in between. And I realized who that is. I already knew because I've said it a million times. It's Gabriel and Mandy. And the kids, and Niche, obviously. And, you know, we had a really tough time last Friday just dealing with the aforementioned shit. And as we're filling in the other parents, it's just like, you know what, fuck it, let's go have dinner. You know, and we got dinner, just hung out with them for a couple of hours, and everything seemed to be, well, not everything seemed to be, everything was and just felt better because of the people that they are. The people they are to us, the people they are to our kids, etc. And I give them full credit for it. You know, our relationship hasn't always been the best. It started off rocky, to say the least. And if anybody knows our story, what we told a comedian on stage is our life is like a big Jerry Springer episode. And I'm sure one day we'll all sit down and talk about it in detail. Well, maybe not too much detail. But it was nice. It was amazing to know that if everything goes to shit, if the world falls apart, if I lose everything, I still have a circle of people that I can rely on, that I can count on, that I know no matter what will have my back, tell me how it is, and in certain instances keep me sane, as opposed to me spiraling out of control in those fucked up moments. And I know I can talk just as frankly to them. I can say the intrusive thoughts that have come into my head. And I did that on Friday with Mandy. And I told her straight up, like, you know, there was just part of me that thought da-da-da-da-da. And to her credit, as much as all of us can't be serious on a long-term basis, she stopped, she looked me in the eyes, and she told me what she told me. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. Like, she is one of my best friends. Gabriel is one of my best friends. And for all intents and purposes, they shouldn't be. Based on how everything played out, based on, you know, the fact that she's my ex-wife and he's somebody I grew up with, and there's a million reasons why it shouldn't work. And that just goes to show me that it's not about who you're supposed to be friends with or who you've known the longest necessarily, even though Gabriel is the one I've known second longest in this world. That's not blood related to me. It's about the people that make time, that take time, that are really, truly there for you. I know that if anything happened, anything popped off, whatever, I got two motherfuckers that would do anything to help. You know, Joey Diaz said it best. He's like, everybody's got it confused. They think they need an army. All I need is 3 motherfuckers, and I know I could take over the world. You're finished. And I got those 3. Niche, Gabriel, Mandy. I know I got my 3. And it means the world to me. Because there's been a lot of people that I showed a lot of loyalty to for a lot of years. And it's not just one person in particular. It's a lot of different people that I've done that with. And I was worse for wear because of it. I turned my back on certain people. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. Because there's only a certain amount of space at my table nowadays. You know, I told Mandy and Gabriel, it was like, our circle has never been smaller, but I've never been happier. And it's not that I don't miss people. It's not that I don't want to hang around necessarily. I don't, because I only have a certain amount of bandwidth to deal with a certain amount of bullshit. And I'm trying to save that for whenever it really matters nowadays. But it's refreshing and eye-opening to see how close of a family unit we are. To see, I mean, we're planning on taking a fucking vacation together again. And I don't say that to disparage it or anything. I say it because that's the type of relationship we have, and I can't think of anybody else that I'd want to spend that time with. You know, every birthday, every holiday, everything. It's like we're all together all the time. And a lot of people don't understand it. Most people don't understand it. And that's fine because they've had different experiences, different relationships, and I can't necessarily fault them for that. Because I've had different relationships with different people than other people have had. So I get it now. And I'm eternally grateful for the people that sit at my table. And not just the two of them, not just Niche, but the kids too. All of them. All the adopted ones, everything. Because I could see the relationship that the four parents have rubbing off on the kids. Especially in the aspect that they're forming their own family. Chris especially, because he's older and moved out, yada yada. And you see the dynamic repeating. You know, I would like to think that Chris is me and his homeboy is Gabriel, but it's the other way around. Chris is Gabriel in the situation, and his homeboy's me. You know, and a few weeks ago we had my grandpa's birthday party, and everybody was there. My entire family, minus my cousin. And my entire family was there. You know, Niche, obviously, she's my wife. Mandy and Gabriel grew up with my grandparents the same way that anybody else did. They've known them for 20 plus at this point. God, it really has been that long. Fuck. As if I don't feel old enough already. But we were all there. Our four kids were there. And then Chris's crew was there. His girlfriend, her sister, his best friend. And on the way home, you know, I looked at Nisha and I broke down. And, oof. And not because I was upset. It was the exact opposite. I was ecstatic. Because I saw in practice what we as a collective have been trying to teach them. And it wasn't even like they were doing anything, you know, super crazy or responsible or any shit like that. It was more of just watching them interact with their siblings, interact with each other whenever it came to the older kids, Chris's crew. And it just, like, every memory I had of being Gabriel and Jimmy and all of our group of friends at that age just came flooding back. And it was really cool to see. It was really cool to be reminded of that. I mean, you're like, you know what? All the bullshit aside, everything that we've all been through together, good and bad, just seeing it for what it is for once was eye-opening. And it's not like I didn't know on a regular basis, but to be confronted with it, to have it directly in my face and telling me, hey, look, this is what you've been fighting for this entire time. This is what you've wanted your entire life. You wanted this type of family, this close-knit, ball-busting, shit-talking, but truly down for each other. It's like if you come after one of us, you're coming after all of us. Period. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a very positive way. It's like we have a tight-knit group of 11 people. And that's just like our little part of it. And it's so amazing to see. It's so amazing to see where, for example, Gabriel and I are now in our relationship, and then seeing the early part of our relationship reflected in Chris and Angie. And it really does put things in perspective. Because he and I lost contact for a long time, Gabriel and I. And I try to reach out occasionally. And according to him, he kept tabs on me, which doesn't really surprise me because I kept tabs on him too. And his family. And it makes me regret missing all that time. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, neither one of us fully remember exactly why we stopped talking. Because I've had different thoughts, and he's said different things at different times. And so it's just like, you know what, fuck it, it's over. And we've gotten to a point now where I don't know who I could call my best friend besides him. You know, I know if we needed to move, I could call him and he'd be like, yo, I'll clear my calendar that day. Like, I got you. All right, cool. Because I do it for him. I know that, I mean, hell, there's even been times where we've had to borrow money from each other. And yeah, people say that's not a major deal or whatever, but it is to me. You know, it's having somebody you can truly depend on and know that if you needed anything, they'd be there for you in whatever capacity that may be. And that's the kind of friend that I try to be as well. It's like, yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I've dropped the ball with my friends a bunch. You can ask anybody that I'm friends with. It's like, I'm the hardest motherfucker to get a hold of. Sometimes I'll text back. Sometimes I'll think I text back. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, shit. Because I forgot. And I do feel kind of bad about it. But at the same time, it's just like, I got shit to deal with. I know that's a cold way to look at it, but I don't get mad whenever people don't respond to me either. So the ball bounces both ways, in all fairness. You know, I really put my focus, my bandwidth towards the people that put their bandwidth towards me. You know, and I was having a real hard time on Friday. And I remember Gabriel just looked at me. He was like, dude, everything's going to be fucking fine. I was like, you're tripping out on this. He was like, I told you everything was going to be cool. You know, you went through it. It's fine. Everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to go back to normal. Blah, 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 blah. Then, you know, he wasn't just saying it. You know, because a lot of us just say shit to smooth the situation over or calm the person down or whatever the situation is. I try not to do that because I don't want to be full of shit. You know, and he's a lot of the same way. And it's like, you know, Niche was saying the same thing, like everything's going to be fine, and while she herself was freaking out, so I knew it was bullshit. But he was an impartial party or whatever and said the same thing. And that was the first time I actually felt better about the situation. It's like, okay, if he's saying it, I know I can trust it. And those are the type of people that I surround myself with now. The people that I know are going to shoot straight, going to call me on my bullshit, or just try to be there, be present. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. There's a lot of people that would much rather have 100 friends than 3 good motherfuckers. And I'm not that guy anymore. I don't give a fuck if I have a gigantic crew like I used to, where at any given time, if we were hanging out, we were 20 fucking deep and all that shit. And like, that wasn't for me. It wasn't for me then. It's not for me now, but I still chose that because I thought that somehow boosted my social value or something. And now I'm to the point where it's just like, social value be damned. I want to be happy, which means I need to surround myself with people that are going to make me happy. Do we get into it occasionally? Obviously. Like, you can't be around people that much and not have disagreements or whatever. But it's not end of the world shit. It's not knock down, drag out. It's not any of that. We have gotten to a point where we can all sit down as adults, take our part of the responsibility for whatever it is, discuss it as adults calmly, and move past it and correct it. Because there's been things that I've said to Mandy and Gabriel. There's been things that they've said to us. And I think the reason that I look to them so much is because I've seen the changes. You know, I don't know if they feel the same way in this situation, but things that I've brought up, I've seen addressed with behavior, a correction to behavior, or however you want to put it. And I would like to think I've done the same thing. But those are the type of people that they are. And those are the type of people I want to be around. Because there's been a lot of people where I've voiced opinions or concerns or whatever, and people might look at me as a buzzkill or, oh, he doesn't like having fun anymore, or whatever the fucking situation is. And that's fine if that's how people want to look at it, but it's more of, I know what's right and what's wrong, what feels right and what feels wrong. I vibe with everything. And if I'm not feeling the vibe, I'm not fucking doing it. Period. End of story. And I've lost a lot of people that way because I don't want to go along with the status quo or whatever. I don't want to just cruise through life like everything's chill whenever it's not. I refuse to do that. I don't do that in my personal life. Why am I going to do that in my social life? I put my all into every relationship, every job I've had, everything. I fucked up, admittedly, in both of those. And even as a parent, I fucked up. But what usually separates me from other people is the fact that I try not to make the same mistake twice, first off. And second, I try to learn from everything. I try to better myself on a daily basis. I try to be thankful for what I have instead of pining for what I don't. And I used to be the exact opposite. I was the one that was always looking to the horizon instead of focusing on the here and now. Always looking for something better or looking for something that I used to have or however you want to phrase it. I've done it all. And I realized that looking for something else instead of being appreciative of what I have was my biggest drawback. Like my mantra right now is I will be happy. Not I want to be happy, not I hope I can be happy. None of that is I will be happy. Period. That's it. There is no if, buts, or maybes about it. One way or the other, I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life. Because I spent so much time as a kid, as a teenager, 20s, most of my 30s, looking for something else, looking for something to make me whole, to make me complete, without appreciating the things that I had that did make me complete, or that would make me complete if I let them. I was more focused on, oh, I need to do this, I need to be cool, I need to dress a certain way, I need to talk a certain way, I need to act a certain way, I can't act like I like all my nerdy shit, I can't do any of that because people are going to call me a nerd, or I can't paint my fingernails because they'll call me a fag. And that happened. Every single thing that I just said happened to me in the course of my life multiple times. And it's just like, why was I ever worried about that? Why was I looking at somebody else's table and being like, yo, I want to sit there. I want to sit with the cool kids and shit like that. Like, I've been around my group for, what is it, 7 years now? As far as, like, constantly always doing something together, always being around each other. I know them better than anybody. They know me better than anybody. And not one of us has to be fake anymore. Every time we sit at that table together, we are our most true and authentic selves, and we're happy. I'm not going to say there hasn't been times where one of us clammed up or needed our space or whatever, because that has happened. We don't shy away from each other either. You know, even when we have those moments where we don't have the bandwidth to interact or whatever, we still make it a point to hang out. Because we know that that's our escape. We know that our group, our core, won't let that shit just permeate. You know, none of us can be serious too long. We start getting depressed, we start getting in our own heads, and somebody's there to be like, yo, fuck, what's wrong with you? And just start busting balls or something. And that's amazing to me. I know that doesn't work for everybody because a lot of people are sensitive. I've got pretty fucking thick skin. As do everybody around me, or as does, excuse me, I don't know why I talk like that. As does everybody around me, because we have to. That's the generation we grew up in. Like, we were constantly talking shit. Some people have taken it to heart. Those people aren't around. Some people take it personally. They're not around. The ones that understand where it's coming from, and that it's coming from a place of love, and as weird as that is to say, because it's to the outside layperson, it sounds horrendous. Don't get me wrong. But to us, like, it does come from a place of love. Like, if I didn't pick at you and fuck with you, I don't care. And I only surround myself with people that I care about now. It kind of gets lonely sometimes, admittedly. But I'll take the lonely every day if I get the connection the rest of the time. And I mean that. Like, I would not trade my life for anybody else's right now. No amount of money, no amount of fame, nothing. Because this is the first time in 39 years that I've actually appreciated my lot in life. Is it everything that I expected it to be as a kid? No. But none of us have our dreams play out exactly the way we wanted to. And if anybody says they do, they're a liar. I had to come to grips a long time ago that, yes, I've set goals. Yes, there's things that I want to accomplish, but I had to be realistic, and I had to accept the fact that, yes, I have these goals. Yes, I'm moving towards them, but not everything is going to play out the way that I want it to. The end result is not necessarily going to be what I want it to be. And I made peace with that. And once I made peace with that, outside of certain uncontrollable things, everything's gone a lot better. And I'm trying to be more positive. And that's why I felt the need to do this particular episode. Because so often we're brought down to a lower vibrational level, or however you want to put it, because of the lower vibrational people that we hang around. If my reaction to hanging out with somebody is, shit, I'm not hanging around that person anymore. If I'm worried about what's going to be said or how people are going to act or whatever, I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. My reaction, and everybody's reaction, whenever there's plans made and, oh, we're going to hang out with this person, just be like, oh, shit, that's going to be fucking dope. I ain't seen him in a minute, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. Or whenever it's just assumed. Like, you know, we hang out with Mandy and Gabriel every single weekend. And it's assumed that we're going to hang out at some point. There's no more like, oh, do you guys want to hang out? It's like, hey, we're doing da-da-da-da-da. Y'all coming? And I love that. Because we didn't have that for so long. It was, okay, hey, we're dropping off the kids. We'll see you guys later. Da-da-da-da. And I didn't like that. I don't think anybody liked it because it was just weird and it was awkward. Like, I don't want to be around that. I don't want weird and awkward. I want something that I can look forward to. It's like, oh, we're going to drop off the kids. This is going to be funny. And most of the time it is. Sometimes we get serious. A lot of times we get serious, but we know how to get past the serious shit and then immediately get back to normal for us. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So my advice for today would be take inventory of your table. Know what you have to give. Know what you're not willing to give. And only let people sit at your table that are willing to do the same things. That are willing to acquiesce and be like, yo, I get that you can't give that right now. I'm still here. That's it. Be happy, motherfuckers. We only got one life. Eventually, everybody's not going to be here no more. You might as well enjoy it and surround yourself with people that are going to enjoy it with you. So until next time, don't let the noise make you. You make the noise.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you like the show or know somebody who would, please subscribe and share to help us grow the show. You can follow us on all socials at thatinfernalnpc. You can listen on YouTube and Podbean at That Infernal Noise or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.